pound of ground beef was almost $10. So I only got 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of ground pork, because it was cheaper. And then I went to the beans, and a can of kidney beans was over $2. 1 month back in Canada to visit with family and friends and take care of some of those practical items has actually given us some clarity. And in 2 years of full-time travel, we've noticed a distinct change after being home for over a month. And today we're going to talk to you about what full-time travel has actually done to us.
When we decided to retire early in 2024, one of the main reasons is actually to spend quality time with our family and with our friends. And you might be thinking, how is it actually possible if we travel full-time? Actually, when we come back to Canada and Brazil soon, this is the quality time that we mean. We come to visit them and spend time with them.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see from the background, this is, or maybe you can't tell, but this is my father's house. So when we come home, when we head to Brazil, we do spend significant chunks of time with Jean's mom and my dad. And this is time we never would have had or been able to spend if we were still working and living here in Canada. And as funny as that sounds, we have actually spent far more quality time with our parents now than we have in the past 20 years of our lives. So it sounds weird to say that we quit our jobs to travel full time and we live around the world, but we spend more time with our family now than we ever have before.
Yes, and this is really important because, as we know, our parents, they are aging. And as a result, every time that we come back and visit them, we still see the difference, right? And even speaking with them, I usually call my mom and ask her, what is the gossip, what is going on? And she always talks about people that we used to live together that unfortunately they are not with us anymore. So it's really important for us to spend that quality time with them.
Yeah, and this has sort of led to one of the, no, I wouldn't call it a surprise, but a realization, I think, between a conversation we had over this last month, that moving forward, we're going to try to return to both Canada and Brazil at least every 6 to 8 months in the foreseeable future. So we will be here until July when we go to Brazil, and we're going to spend time with family in Brazil. And then fast forward to 3-4 months, we're going to be back in Canada for Thanksgiving and back to Brazil for Christmas.
And
And originally the plan for next year had been for us to be away for a full year. But now we're pivoting those plans, and we may actually take separate vacations next year, but not to a tropical island somewhere. I believe I'll come home here to Canada for 3 to 4 weeks, and Jean will probably go to Brazil for 3 to 4 weeks before we meet back up.
And we learn as we go, right? So we are experienced, we are trying to see what it fits our lifestyle and what we are able to do at the age that we are in. So let's see what happens. But I believe it's the right thing to do, especially spending, as we did say, quality time.
One thing also we noticed is we're here for a month and a half, and we think that that's a lot of time, which it is. However, we fail to recognize that as we have time freedom right now, but a lot of our friends and even our family, they don't have that same freedom at this point in time. So we're trying to cram in those visits to, maybe after work in the evening sometime on a weekend. But all of those fill up very quickly. So I think by coming back every 6 to 8 months, we'll be able to sort of see some of those people that we may not necessarily get to see each time we're home.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. They have their own lives the same way that we do have ours. And if they are not able to meet us, we have to understand, because those are some of the choices that we need to weigh in making that decision, right?
Yeah. There's also been some practical realities that we have had to face after being home here for over a month now. One of them is cost of living. Canada is expensive. I went to buy, Jean loves chili, so we haven't had a kitchen to cook for the past 6 months. So we've been loving getting into the kitchen and making some of the favorite things that we enjoy while we're home. I went to buy the stuff to make chili the other day. A pound of ground beef was almost $10. So I only got 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of ground pork, because it was cheaper. And then I went to the beans, and a can of kidney beans was over $2. I couldn't believe it. However, It is a reality that a lot of people here in North America and around the world have to face. So the cost of living in Canada, and I'm assuming probably the same in the US and parts of Europe, has increased substantially.
And that's one of the reasons that we decided to travel full time. Because if you were to keep the same lifestyle that we are having now, we wouldn't be able to by living in Canada. And the power of geo arbitrage is exactly there, where we do spend months on low cost of living countries or cities around the world and can actually go and compare those. I was actually looking at the numbers even back from 2023 or 2024 when we were still in Canada, and the amount of money that we spent on groceries, kind of having insurance, having a car, gas, and all of those things. If you think about it, you're not going to have those anymore.
Yeah, so we truly do use geo arbitrage to offset these more expensive months in our budget with some cheaper or less expensive places. And if anybody is at all curious, we do share all of our monthly budget breakdowns over in the membership side. So head over there and take a look.
Let's talk about logistics. We just mentioned that we do travel full time. And as a result, the mail that comes to us, they keep piling up. And I mean, our family, they're very nice, and they do help us by opening some of them that we think that is actually important. And by doing this, by the time that we kind of come back home, the pile is still waiting for us.
Yeah, the logistics of coming home, especially when credit cards need renewal or driver's license that somebody forgot to renew 6 months ago needs to get done, things like that. It can get overwhelming. And even buying clothing. I can't just walk into a store, unfortunately, in Thailand and buy a new pair of pants. It doesn't work for this height or build. So sometimes when we're home, the logistics of replenishing our wardrobe, replenishing, banking information, all this kind of stuff, it can get kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, are we complaining? Not at all. It's just opening up what we have been experiencing. So if this is something that you're actually interested in doing, so you know what to expect, right? Another one is actually looking at credit cards. How often do you go and look at the expiry date of a specific credit card? Even those things that you might be think that is kind of minimal, we have to think about that as well, because it happens to us going to a place and we tap the card and we realize, well, this card is not working. And then we realized, well, the card is actually expired. So all of those things we have to plan.
Right. And maybe one of the biggest things that we have realized and come to recognize after being home here for just over a month is that there is an internal shift within us that has developed over the past 2 years.
And it's actually the realization that I think that our time in between in between cities, it's going to be maybe around just a month to 40, 45 days.
Yeah, and this might sound strange after having traveled for 2 full years. But when we go back and when we look at our travel over those 2 years, I think we've actually only stayed in Buenos Aires, Juan Pessoa, Chiang Mai, and Plovdiv, Bulgaria for a month. The rest of it has been 1 week, 2 weeks, a few days, and moving a little bit too quick. But after now being here for a full month and starting into week 5, about a week ago, we started to get a little antsy.
Yeah, and deciding what to do. Maybe the fact that we are still living our go-go years and we wanted to do and see things as much as possible, it kind of brings that sense of what is next. Some of our friends that we wanted to hang out and spend time with, they are working and we are here. I mean, yes, we do have family, but maybe it's time for us to give them some time. So we try to figure it out what is the right amount.
Yeah, and I think for us, we've really started to realize that we need a month in a location. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to spend a week here and there in between those month stays, but I feel like a month is going to give us enough time to get to know a city, find our little favorite hideaways and haunts. And then by about week 3, I think we're going to start to get a little, I would keep saying antsy, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I was antsy. I was anxious. And I said to Jeanne, I'm like, I feel like I need to move again. Like I need to get going. And I think over 2 years, we've slowly rewired how we live our lives without actually realizing it. And I think 1 month is going to be our our comfortable cadence moving forward.
Have you been traveling full time? What is usually the amount of time that you spend on each location? Share in the comments below.
Yeah, so that was one thing that we really figured out this month. Being back here was that I think moving forward, a month in any given location is going to be our sweet spot. And that could change again. Who knows? But for the foreseeable future, we're going to try out a month. And we also figured out that we really do want to get back to see our family every 6 to 8 months. That was a big realization this time around.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, we released a video about home base versus no home base. Our situation might be a bit different because part of the family is in Brazil, part of the family is in Canada, and we are like on this limbo. Where should we go and what should we do?
Yeah, so we had some good discussions. One, would we want to come back? Two, could we afford to come back with the cost of living? And if we wanted to come back, would we buy or rent? But I feel like these are all really big questions and it might deserve a video of its own. So if that's something that you're interested in, let us know in the comments down below.
And this is us living this lifestyle just over 2 years, but I want to hear what you think and what our friends think about it.
Yeah, I think we're really interested. Have any of you who are full-time travelers felt this recalibration of yourself? Have you felt that shift or the need to stay longer or move quicker? Let us know down below because it's really interesting to hear everyone else's perspective on this as well.